Done. Where's my face? There's my face. Back to what I was saying. Okay, so thank you so much. Welcome to this week's episode of the Artistic Biker Live. This time we are going to be working in the art journal again. I think that I like working in the art journal for the show because there's a pretty good process to that. Let's look and see where we were. I just have to get used to this. This is going to take a minute. There we go. Last time on the Artistic Biker, we did some dandelions. I actually don't think this was last time. This was the last time we worked in the book. I think the last time we were on the Artistic Biker, we actually did some snails, which I also like. So there's those things. But today, we're going to do some jellyfish. So let's just turn the page and get started. Whee! All right. So here we are once again. I still have coffee. No rum in my coffee because I'm losing weight. My cardiologist doesn't think I should be drinking so much. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not trying to live a life where I can't have rum in my coffee, but I am trying to live a life where rum in my coffee won't kill me. So let me get back under 200 pounds, then we'll talk about it. Tell you what, before we get too far into this, let's go up here to the tools. I can be stirring this while I do this. And I can go to this. And I can go to this and not this. And then I can get rid of this. And then I can do this. And then the screens will switch around on me. And I won't have to pay any attention to it unless I just want to show you a particular screen. So, there we go. Gesso's nice and thick. Do. Alright. I need to get some rags. I need to get some rags so I can clean my brushes off without using up all these paper towels. Ow! Alright, so there's that. And then, you know what? How dumb is that? Everybody, don't just pretend you didn't see that. Just everybody pretend you didn't see that part, okay? That part never happened. Just pretend like that part never happened. Goodness gracious. Is this really the best brush for this? It probably is. I'll tell you what though, let's lubricate the paper. The gesso spreads better on damp paper. Not wet paper, but damp paper. I've been drawing jellyfish all week long. I did some jellyfish studies in my pocket notebook, and then I did another jellyfish study in my pocket notebook because I wasn't really convinced that I had the technique down. It's difficult because in my pocket notebook I work in fountain pen, and so it's difficult for me to figure out sometimes how to make something as ethereal as a jellyfish look ethereal in fountain pen. And that's part of the process, right? That's part of what we're trying to do is learn new things and try to do new things. Try to capture new techniques, new ideas. And that was really what the journal was supposed to do, is give me a place to practice that kind of stuff. But I don't really find myself using much fountain pen in the journal. Let me check on my mom, because I know she was supposed to join us. She said she was coming to the chat room, and I don't see her. And the fact that I don't see her makes me wonder if we are still having connectivity issues. Where's my mouse? Anybody see my mouse? It's not really a mouse, it's a hamster. It doesn't have a tail. Without a tail, it's a hamster, not a mouse. That's some geek nonsense for you. Okay, let me dry this real quick. Give me just a second. Ah, my hammer. All right. So there's the gesso. Now, let's figure out what we want to do. I think we're probably going to want to go in with... Probably going to want to go in with some blue. I wonder... These look like different color blues. Let's try this. All right, everybody put your masks on. Everybody make sure you're wearing your mask. Woo. I got caught. Honestly, I can't wear that anymore. It's too hot. Oh. Okay. The only downside to using spray paint is it doesn't dry very fast. And it leaves a lot of shadows. But that's okay because it's just a base, just a foundation. Somebody call 911 or just dial 911, and when I pass out, then you can dial the other one. Dude, this is supposed to be up here, not down here in my way. These should be put up because I don't want to get paint on them. Same with this. Okay, back to where we were. We were going to... I wonder if I could dry that with a hairdryer. I don't think I can. This setup is really designed for me to stand up, but then I bump the camera with my head. Now she sees the chat on the screen. Good. That's what's supposed to happen. I think I have a lag that you don't have. And that's crazy. But it took us a long time to get it figured out. Stealing some of my daughter's blue. I like her blue better than my blue for this, so I'm going to steal some of it. We didn't have these issues this morning, and my mom's in the chat room saying we didn't have these issues this morning, and we didn't have these issues this morning. I wonder if I can say we didn't have these issues this morning one more time. We didn't have these issues this morning because I don't include the chat on screen on the morning show. And the reason is because the morning show, I'm not going to edit the morning show. But I thought that I might edit the evening show. And by editing the evening show, if I'm going to edit the evening show, I need to be able to keep the chat so that everybody can see what's going on. If I edit the stream at all once it's published, if I edit the stream at all, it kills the chat. It makes it where the live chat is no longer accessible. And so that means I can't cut out the hair drying. That means I can't cut out the dead air. She says the stream looks gorgeous on her 42-inch screen. That's good. I bet my dad's watching it on his television too. See that beading? Beading. That's what I'm going for. I want that to happen. Because now we're going to come back with just a little bit of luck. Not that one. I need one that will fit down in the bottle like that one. There we go. Isn't that a thing of beauty? That's a nice background for some jellyfish. Let's dry that without messing it all up. My grandmother's watching Wheel of Fortune. Oh, she's got the TV. Yeah, this is all acrylic, Ivy. The last thing I did, because acrylic is water-based, the alcohol makes it spread out. I'll tell you what, though, I do think I want to come in with some lighter blue. So let's do that. I don't know how paint gets all over my guitar. It's crazy. So yeah, let's do that. We just have to make sure everything's really wet. Where'd my spray bottle go? There's my spray bottle. It has to be really wet to make it float. Okay, so here we go. If it works, it's going to be beautiful. If it doesn't work, it's still going to be beautiful. It just won't be what we were trying to do. But it doesn't mean that it won't still be beautiful. Because that's the whole point in doing it in a book like this, is we're experimenting. You found your watercolors in the cleanup yesterday. Well, that's cool. Mom says, this is the part that really messes me up. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's do that. Let's glaze that with some darker blue. And then we can set it aside and we can do what's on your easel, and we'll feel confident that we've done everything we're supposed to do. Got this blue right here that I stole from my kid. And since we're going to glaze it, we want it really wet. I mean really wet. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm getting deep sea vibes. It just wasn't giving me deep sea vibes earlier. We're not going to do the alcohol part again. We're going to leave that glaze just like this. Just like it is. And hopefully it'll kind of run together. I'm not going to dry it. I'm going to let it run around a little bit on its own. So, we'll let this sit. This is a good opportunity for us to stop and go to what's on your easel. So let's just see here. So here was some jellyfish studies that I did. This is fountain pen in my little pocket notebook. I did see you did some coloring this week. More fountain pen. This is kind of the style we're going to go for tonight, I think. And then I did one more as an illustration, which I kind of like that one too. I don't know, it's hard for me to determine whether I like this with the heavy lines around it or whether I like this, trying to get a more ethereal look. But either way you go, these are fountain pen. What we're doing tonight is acrylic. So that's what was on my easel. Let's see what we have in the easel folder over here. So we have from Pamela French, avert your eyes, it may be porn. I gotta switch cameras again. Pamela sent in some watercolor bookmarks. Okay, so Pamela sent in some bookmarks. Look at that. She even did jellyfish for us. Because we said that we were going to do jellyfish this week, she did jellyfish bookmarks. And so that's that one. But they're really very pretty. They're cute. They're really very pretty. We've got seahorses and jellyfish and mermaids. Yeah. Pamela, those are very nice. Lovely bookmarks. Lovely. Alright, and then finally, the last thing she sent was, forgot I had done this dandelion. View. Zoom in, zoom in. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Really nice, Pamela. Really nice. So that was what was on my easel. That's what was on your easel. If you would like to be a part of what's on your easel, simply send a email to blade@artisticbiker.com with easel in the subject line, and I will use your works to inspire other people, because that's really what all this is about. It's why I don't mind doing crazy stuff in here, is because it's inspiration, right? If I can do it, you can do it. If I can make mistakes, you can make mistakes. So please join us in doing that. If you just send an email to blade@artisticbiker.com with easel in the subject line, and we'll use your works to inspire other people. This is not quite dry, so we're going to dry this real quick. And why is my numbers not working? Why is that not working? This is supposed to work. Oh, because I'm pushing the same button. Ha! It's not dry. It's not dry. So we're going to dry this just a little bit more. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back. You know we don't go anywhere. All right. Woo! Earthquake, earthquake. Okay. So, let's bring our glaze of paint back over here. You know what? I don't want to do that. Let's add some white to it. Now, we're just going to freehand some jellyfish is what I'm going to do. It's my intention. Yeah, I may need a little more blue after all. All right. A little more water because I want it thin. And let's just freehand us a jellyfish. What do you think? We'll just, without even looking at a jellyfish. I'm going to scrub some of that back off. You guys, honestly, you should see the floor behind me. Now, I'm going to add just a little more white to this. White typically dulls stuff down, so you don't want to just use pure white. But you can see how it went kind of matte, how it went kind of flat. Because it's you can see it kind of went flat because it's because white just tends to dull stuff down. But sometimes you have to do that to make the background colors go away. I just can't get away from flicking water all over the studio right now. I can't figure out. I never had this problem before, or I never cared about this problem before. Alright, let's see here. We need some red. Just a drop, because this stuff is highly pigmented. Some yellow. My yellow is about used up. Look at that. Look at that nonsense. I kind of like that. We haven't even moved to the smaller brushes yet. I'm putting new flooring in the RV. We'll count the days it stays clean, right? That's always the case. You get everything all cleaned up so that you can do something. But then eventually you have to start living again. Can't talk, Harding. Yeah, she says, but for that 1 hour, it's really nice. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the pastels. So let's dry this. Technical difficulties kind of set us off. So I'm going to have to buckle down, do it. That's what I'm going to have to do. Alright, let's see here. Let's come back with a little more red. Doesn't take much. I'll tell you what I'm going to need is just a little blue. I already have some yellow. Probably need a little more white. What did I do with my tube of white? Alright. So I'll tell you what let's do now. Let's Let's take a little red and blue. And let's add some detail to these. Let's add some form to these. Right? A little red. Let's just add just a little form to these things. Now I'm going to take that white I'd like to get a really good pink going there, but I'm not really going to hold my breath for that. Mostly because we're underwater, right? It wouldn't actually be white. Let's take and let's put some markings around the top of this jellyfish to show that we have a solid side on this side and a see-through side on the other side. A corresponding see-through side on the other side. Right, that gives us a little form on this side. And now, let's take that indigo and let's really bring out those tendrils. What you think? Does it look like a jellyfish? Does it need white highlights? It might actually need some white highlights. Just to give it just a little appearance of shimmering. But you have to be really sparing, because the more actual white you use, you'll actually dull it down. So you can't even see what I'm doing. But I tell you what we can do. See, part of me really wants to come in with a really thick black line around the outside of that. But I tell you what we can do. We'll come back with a little more white paint. Really going to wet it down, really going to thin it out. And then do. Ow, ow, ow. Ow. Do. Do I have a smaller one yet? Yes, I do. All right. I like that. Do. Yeah. I like that. It looks like a jellyfish, right? But I tell you what, let's do now. Let's get just a little more of the baby girl's blue. Don't tell her I'm stealing her blue, okay? Just don't tell her. Whatever you do, don't tell her I'm stealing her blue. Before I do this, I need the bubbles to dry, because I don't want to risk smearing the bubbles. let's see if I have the skill set required to. We're going to lubricate this a little bit. Get a little water going here. Make sure that blue paint is thin, like a glaze, one might say. And we're going to compromise. We're not going to go back with black paint around it. But we can go back with a darker blue glaze. And we don't have to do the whole painting. But see how this down here should be in shadow anyway. Even if it's just a slight shadow. Can't talk, Harding. There are cats mating outside. My dogs are going nuts. What do you think about that? I like how that worked out. Just add a little depth to it. Which camera did you want to see, Mom? They switch automatically. I'm going to go ahead and stop for now. I'll tell you what I like about this. I don't know if you can see it with that lighting. Let's see if I can prop that up and get that glare off there. Maybe if I just turn that off altogether. No, that doesn't help. I mean, it might help. The other thing is this thing up here. So what I like the pastels. I like the pastels in here in the background, making it look like they're on the other side. I like the dark looking like it's a shadow coming through with the light up there, and it looks like a shadow's coming through. I don't know if I like the bubbles. The bubbles make it stand out, but I don't know if I like the bubbles. If I were going to transfer this to a canvas, I'm not sure I would transfer the bubbles, but I might put something else in the background. Probably need a little more highlight on this and a little more shadow on this, but I really like the orange and the indigo and the pink working together to give that the coloration, so that the whole thing's not just cold blue. But if I were going to transfer this to a canvas, I think those are the things I would focus on. And I might like to transfer this to a canvas. I think I'm going to do a watercolor, at least an ink and wash. I'll probably do that tomorrow, and I'll post it to my Instagram so you can see the ink and wash. But I do like the color combination, and I do like the simplicity of it. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. You know that I love doing this. I've always loved doing this, even though I took a long break. This is still one of my favorite things to do, is to art with you guys. So be sure and tune in. We do this at 5:30 in the mornings. We do these little sketches with the random object in the random arbifier. You're welcome to join us every day at 5:30, and then every Thursday, same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. I think we'll just continue working in the journal for the Thursday nights, because that's fun for me, and it's messy, and it gives me an excuse to have to clean the studio. So, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, and then we can stop the stream. I know nobody's going to tell me that they see me dancing, because you just like watching me dance. All right, bye. Love you. Bye.